All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachakodash. The bun is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And this is going to be part 4 of Paul, the apostle of the Gentiles, just continuing this series, showing and proving that the Gentiles whom the Apostle Paul was preaching to, unto whom salvation was granted, they were indeed Israelites. Okay, we call them Israelite foreigners. All right, because they were scattered amongst the Gentiles, they was living like the Gentiles, and had no knowledge about being an Israelite. But through the blood of Yahushai, they was able to come back into the fold and to reclaim their heritage, their identity. Okay, and so in this lesson, I wanted to read the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, and I wanted to get into a little bit of Greek history, okay? So without further ado, let's get here in this lesson, man. It says, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1, it says, "Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led." And as I said, I wanted to get into the history of why these Israelite foreigners, all right, were following dumb idols and living like the Greeks, right? Living like, the ancient Greco-Roman war was living. And, you know, just showing the history, man. All right. I kind of got stuck there, man. My mind kind of foggy, but it's fine. But yeah, man, I want to get into the history, on why they did what they did. And hopefully, Lord willing, man, it be edifying. So if you go here um, real quick, I want to go to John first. Okay, let's go to John. If you go here to John 7, all right, John 7 and verse 35, right? It says here, "Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we should not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?" Now, if you go into the word dispersed here, okay, the word dispersed in the Greek is diaspora, and it's talking about scattered Israelites, okay? And if you go into this word Gentiles, okay, because it's two words here, right? It says among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles. The word that should be translated here is Greeks, okay? But they put Gentiles, but it should be Greeks, right? Now, the first mention of the word Gentiles or Greeks is talking about the actual heathens, okay, the natural heathens. Now, the second mention of the word Gentile here or Greeks is talking about the Israelite foreigners. It's referring to the dispersed, okay? And our forefathers back then, those who had the scriptures, those who had the history, they knew about this, man. They knew about how Jake was scattered amongst the heathens and started to live and identify themselves with the heathen, man. And that was through, a process of, you know, of enslavement, of killings, all right, from them damn Edomites, man, who were identifying as Greeks. And that really started with Antiochus the Fourth. Okay, he was the one who really forced that Greek way of life upon Jake, man. Now he reigned, okay, in the Seleucid Empire from 175 BC to 164 BC. So 100, let's say, a 175 years before Yahushua came on the scene. Now, even before Antiochus, came to the throne, Jakes, were still leaving their, Israelite heritage to be Greeks. Okay, that was happening, but they was really forced to do it when Antiochus got on the throne. And this is some history that you gotta know. Okay, you cannot go into the New Testament without going into their Greek history, man, which is found in the book of Maccabees. Okay, that history is a must to know. You gotta know that, bro. If you don't know the history of the Greeks, then you will be confused in the New Testament. And this is why a lot of Christians are confused when they see the word Gentiles or Greeks or Grecians, okay? They go berserk, as you're seeing, with guys like Vocab Malone and James White, the Edomites, and all these little Christian guys, okay? Even some Hebrew Israelites, man, are struggling with this Gentile topic. But the Lord, he's causing the controversy, all right? He's causing this stir to just share more light on this Gentile subject and breakdown. And so without further ado, man, let's get into some of this Greek history, all right? I want to read the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, and I'm going to read it here in the a GNT Bible, okay? First Maccabees, chapter 1, and I'm going to go here to the point, all right? This is First Maccabees, chapter 1, and I'm going to go to verse 41, okay? So First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41, it says, Antiochus now issued a decree that all nations in his empire should abandon their customs and become one people. Now, if you look at a map at the Seleucid Empire, okay, it stretched from the land of Israel unto Mesopotamia. Okay, he had a big portion of land. So Israel, all right, was a part of that empire, a part of the Seleucid Empire, man. Okay, so he says Antiochus now issued a decree that all nations in his empire should abandon their own customs and become one people. All the Gentiles and even many of the Israelites submitted unto this decree. Now keep in mind, Antiochus came into power, right? Antiochus the fourth Epiphanes, he came into power around 175 BC. So this is 175 years before Yahushua came on the scene, right? So it says many of the Israelites submitted to this decree. It says they adopted the official pagan religion, meaning there was what? There was Hellenized, okay? It says offer sacrifices to idols and no longer observe the Sabbath. The king also sent messengers with a decree to Jerusalem and all the towns of Judea, ordering the people to follow customs that were foreign to the country. And indeed, the Greek way of life was foreign to our forefathers, man. We have our own customs and traditions to follow, our own laws. But this new way of life, right? This Greek way of life, it was foreign to our forefathers, man. Okay? It says, he ordered them not to offer burnt offerings, grain offerings, and wine offerings in the temple, and commanded them to treat Sabbaths and festivals as ordinary work days. Bro, cutting off the burnt offerings and the sacrifices from the temple is discontinuing our connection from the Most High, bro. The devil, man. The devil made Jake do that, bro. He made them stop sacrificing, bro. How will we atone for our sins? You know? He came and took it away, man. It says they were even ordered to defile the temple and the holy things in it. They were commanded to build pagan altars, temples, and shrines, and to sacrifice pigs and other unclean animals there. So these people, man, had Jake sacrificing unclean animals in the temple, man. And Look how it single out pigs. Okay, the pig, right? Pork. It's an unclean animal, Jake. It's unclean, brother. You can't be consuming pork, man. Don't take heed, to the bacon prophet, right? This guy who claimed to be King David, man. He's a joke. Okay, he's a joke, and the most I gonna get that guy. Okay, it's unclean, man. But they had Jake sacrificing these animals in the temple, bro. Okay, it says they were forbidden to circumcise their sons and were required to make themselves ritually unclean in every way they could. Damn. Damn. Now, this should make you know, make you think about Timothy and Titus, okay, who was uncircumcised. It tells us in the scriptures, it says that Timothy's father was a Greek. Now, he wasn't Greek by nationality. He was Greek by his way of life, okay, because he was an Israelite, but he didn't, take on that custom. He esteemed the way of the Greeks better than his own fashion, man. He was a product of this, okay? Timothy's father was a product of this, man. That's why he left Timothy uncircumcised. That's why Titus was uncircumcised. And many of the Israelites back then were uncircumcised, man, because of this decree, okay? But the part where it says, and were required to make themselves ritually unclean in every way they could, so that they would forget the law which the Lord had given through Moses and would disobey all its commands. So they wanted to completely detach Jake from their heritage, man, from the customs, from the laws. That's exactly what they did, man. Many Israelites submitted to this decree, as it says up in verse 42, man. Many Israelites, okay? Keep in mind, it was 175 years before Yahushua came on the scene, okay? When Antiochus came into power, the fourth, all right? It says the penalty for disobeying the king's decree was death. So what you think Jake was doing, man? Okay, most Jakes, they became Greeks in their language, in their way of life, in their diets, okay? Completely bugged out. And the children were messed up because they came up, perfectly in the Greek way, right? It says the king not only issued the same decree throughout his whole empire, but he also appointed officials to supervise the people and commanded each town in Judea to offer pagan sacrifices. So he had taskmasters over Jake to make sure that Jake was being Greeks, to make sure that they was uncircumcised, to make sure that they wore the Greek apparel, didn't keep the Sabbaths, didn't do the sacrifices. They made sure of that, man, to detach Jake from their heritage. Okay, it says many of the Jews were ready to forsake the law and to obey these officials, man. So Jake was just willingly doing it, man. Okay, some Jakes were. It says many of the Jews, excuse me, okay, I read that. It says they defiled the land with their evil, and their conduct forced all true Israelites to hide wherever they could. So the brothers and sisters, man, our forefathers who was firm in their beliefs, man, they hauled ass because they saw the danger that they had to face, man, under Antiochus, bro. That nigga was a demon, okay? And he brought hell upon Jake and Hellenized Jake, man. That's why you see what you see in the New Testament. This is why Paul said, you know that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. This is the history on it, man. Here in Maccabees, in which you Christians say that, oh, the book of Maccabees or, or the Apocrypha isn't canon. To hell with you. You have no authority to say what is and what ain't. Okay? You don't have that authority. Sorry. But the book of Maccabees is real history. Okay? It's real accurate history with accurate, timing. Okay? These are actual men who lived, right? Antiochus the fourth, Antiochus the third, okay? Alexander the Greek, Philip of Macedon, these men actually lived. So this book is very, very accurate and it's real and it's true, okay? So reading on here, it says, on the 15th day of the month of Kislev, it says in the year 145, it says, King Antiochus set up the awful horror on the altar of the temple, and pagan altars were built in the towns throughout Judea. Pagan sacrifices were offered in front of houses and in the streets. Any books of the law which were found were torn up and burned. So any books they found of the law, man, they destroyed them, so that you can have no, a connection or access back to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, man. Okay? The devil, man. It says, and anyone who was caught with a copy of the sacred books or who obeyed the law was put to death by order of the king. So this was pure hell, man. It says, month after month, these wicked people used their power against the Israelites caught in the towns. On the 25th of the month, these same evil people offered sacrifices on the pagan altar erected on top of the altar in the temple. Mothers who allowed their babies to be circumcised were put to death in accordance with the king's decree. Their babies were hung around their necks, and their families and those who had circumcised them were put to death. So, bro, they was catching hell, man. Okay? To see their babies get put to death, right? They was catching hell, man. So what you think that those mothers was doing after seeing so many babies get killed? They left their children uncircumcised, man. And their children left their children uncircumcised. Their children left their children uncircumcised, all the way up to the time of Yahweh Shai and the apostles, man. That was all left uncircumcised. So once again, all right, when you see guys like Timothy and Titus who were uncircumcised, right? This is what it go back to, man. They were products of this, okay? It says their babies were hung around their necks, and their families and those who had circumcised them were put to death. But many people in Israel firmly resisted the king's decree and refused to eat food that was ritually unclean. They preferred to die rather than break the holy covenant and eat unclean food, and many did die. In his anger, God made Israel suffer terribly. So, hey, man, woo! Our forefathers have caught hell under the Greeks, bro. Okay? This history got to be known. So, once again, this is why Paul says what he says here in the book of 1 Corinthians. Okay? This is 1 Corinthians 12. Okay, once again. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. It says, you know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. So that's the history on that, man. Okay. These brothers and sisters who was in Corinth, all right, they received the faith in the gospel, right? Salvation. They were Israelites, man. All right. Point blank, period. So with that, I'm going to close out, man. Our praise to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Chakadash, the honor to the apostle. That was a great millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect. Shalom.